Okay, chat, hello. Welcome to Fail Portrayal. I have sent the Discord alert. Welcome to a funny, jolly old time. And we're going to have an adventure, as they say. Because we're going to talk about adventure.
So we got to do our starting content poll?
Maybe
Oops, sorry. Visper, you cut out there?
even a heroic tale.
Yes. So, yeah. I've already pulled up Aramis here, so we have something to look at while we talk about stuff. But so, Adventurer, which was called Hero, Yusha, was very briefly, I believe, they translated as Brave, YGO Pro and stuff, but Adventurer was fine because they don't actually have to change any of the names of any of the cards because it's all about the token. But Adventure is a very interesting deck, and arguably not even a deck because we've alluded to this before, but so Grand Creators is probably one of the deck build packs of all time, like an actual high-level winner, because it introduced Exorcister, Punk, and Adventurer. All of these decks are good.
I think you forgot to say the word one of the best packs of all time. You just said of all time.
No, I said of all time. That's the joke. But no, it genuinely is, like, honestly one of the best deck build packs they have done.
Okay, this is a B thing, but I always thought people say of all time, they usually were trying to refer to it being like neutral or bad, not actually anything positive.
That does sound like a you thing.
No matter what, it is a phenomenal pack that does exist. And calling out that it is the best is like, jokes aside, yes, this is actually a really good set.
It's crazy. Also, I'm on my phone because my internet's exploding right now. I don't know what's going on.
All right, well, let's hope it catches itself.
It seems you summoned an adventurer token too soon.
I guess so.
But yeah, let me actually double check the TCG set list. Right, that's right. This set would be the greatest of all time, except that the TCG fucked it up by putting all those Inzectors in.
Because we had to release the fabled Inzector spell card.
Yeah. But no, it's, I mean, that was in its own right. We've talked before about the pricing of Yu-Gi-Oh and how it's bad in some ways. The reprints they did do for Inzector were probably good. Like, they gave a new Goki Pole reprint. They reprinted, like, Pico Felina, obviously. Fucking Insect Imitations in here. But in general, the fact that all of the common slots were basically eaten up by, for the most part, Inzectors, not great. Like, half of them are the Inzectors and the other generic support stuff, and only a small number of the others are. I should point this out as well. We're not talking about Exorcister yet. We may get into Punk depending on how fast this goes. But Exorcister, it could be argued, wasn't a good deck until they got Martha and their Trap, which was their add-on support. They tack on that one good card in the next core set. But
Even
still,
that name.
I would say that Exorcister is one of those decks that is designed to be a off-meta pick.
Yeah.
So it will always have phases of playability depending on the current format. Martha 100% makes it more explosive, but even before Martha, it was always a solid option. Just the current format of Adventure, Punk, Pile, Kitchen Sink, whatever it was, like just grass go burr, basically.
Yes.
Exorcister was just not designed for that meta at the time.
Yeah. But Punk, I think, has always been valid as an engine. And because it goes with several decks, it was teched into V-Dub, and then obviously with the TCG exclusive, the World Premiere set of Gold Pride, it goes super well because the lines line up. But yeah, I'm looking at the set list, and it's just like the rares are like Shark Kusai, Rising Carp, Wild Picking, Crash Beat, Nashiwari Surprise. Only like 2 of those are actually super relevant to Punk. And then it's like some of a couple of the Extra Sisters and like a couple of their spell traps. At least they made Draco back the equivalent of a common, right? But like, seriously, the rarity like SketchUp is a little annoying. But otherwise, all the archetypes are good. The game design is good. So the thing that I want to talk about this, the reason why we started this change it real quick, was that people didn't think this deck would be good. This is a very common recurring theme you will see. While there are decks that are good, there is a slightly overblown, but a question of, are we entering a Tier 0 format right now? Will Snake Eyes Fire Kings be, like, actually Tier 0? That is a question we will see because, like, yes, out of top 8, that was half the decks in a very most recent regional. But also, if you go to below that to just the general top cut, there's a lot of fucking decks. And a lot of people are also playing really weird shit. That tournament where there were 4 Snake Eyes Fire Kings, that was won by Runic Stun, which I believe went undefeated, if I'm reading their stats right.
Runic Stun build.
I have seen all kinds of fucked up shit in, like, recent regional and WCQ tops, like, both in a good and bad way. Some people are just out here literally playing stun decks with no theme, but there's all kinds of other weird stuff.
Well, and you can even say in a way that the overhype of a tier 0 format is causing these early YCSs of the format to have a bunch of people trying to jam anti-meta, but they may not know what the anti-meta is.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of people trying to find the counters.
Pearly is still good. Kashtira is technically still good. Like, it's a deck that is no longer, like, unbalanced without Arise Heart, but actually, like, functions still, because everything else is good. Yeah, there's several Kashtira tops in, several, WCQs. Obviously, like, Snake Eyes Fire King's out there. Hey, guys, guess what? Tier is back. I'm seeing a top 4 from the, Krapina, the World, WCQ, which is Horus Danger Tier.
Oh.
Centurion got a top 8. Love to see it. Voiceless Voice is creeping up. Oh my god, someone's playing branded Voiceless Voice. Why? Why are you doing this? Unchained Lab got a top 8. So yeah, like, we're in a really wide open meta, and it may be that Snake Eyes Fire King is actually like a Tier 0 super threat. But for now, the meta is super diverse, and we have to see where it shakes out because people are still being very experimental. And that's, like, obviously, that's a really good place. I think when Yuga is experimental is good. But there is a tendency in Yugist thought to overanalyze, I think, and over-doomsay for both this deck is going to be really good and also this deck's going to be really bad. People... I don't know why they do this when we get a deck build pack previewed, but people will usually look at deck build packs and go like, okay, what's the pure build? What's the deck I can make with this pack? Oh, I can't actually? Wow, well, it's trash then. And people forget that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a long history of, what should we call it, just critical mass decks. Like, Dragon Ruler decks were not good. I mean, yes, the versions where you played maximum numbers of babies and Dragon Rulers were pretty cracked, but also... in general, those were still good when you could only play, like, one of each Dragon Ruler because you could play every other good dragon under the sun, right? So, people forget how decks work. And sometimes we want stuff to be good. We looked at Ogdoadic last week. If only there was a payoff for reptiles, that deck would be good. It's got all the pieces it needs to be good. It just doesn't have enough punch to actually win a game on its own, like there's conditionally you might get your opponent, but it's kind of in that weird off meta space. And like I said, I think Exorcister did what Ogdoadic originally wanted to do, which was like build up to punishing your opponent for fucking around in the graveyard a lot better.
Yeah, and when you look at the Grand Creator set, I'm real now, by the way.
Yes, you're real. You're back.
I'm back. But it's the Grand Creators kind of kick-started what became the pile meta. Like I think it took one more set after this, where like the Rose Dragons also as well. But like this kind of like began the rumbling of we can just play 60 card piles, and we just have so many good cards. It doesn't matter that we're playing 60 cards anymore.
Yeah.
But like the punk cards, like all the monsters are crazy, and the spell and traps will have like do some things, but for the most part, it's the monster side of just being good psychics. And with Adventure, leading up to this set, like Omega mentioned, people saw this Adventure set and just tried to build Pure Adventure. And Pure Adventure, I don't want to say it's bad, but it is not. It is nowhere near the consistency that the Adventure package became.
So I don't.
The engine of like 4 or 5 cards.
I want to say this. I don't like to presuppose Konami's like design philosophy necessarily. We're not a fly on the wall. We don't know what's up. That said, I feel like you have to assume Adventure was built with the idea you would be running it with something else. One of their equip spells literally is a Noble Arms card, the sword, the Noble Arms of Light, which kind of like has interplay with, you know, Noble Knight variants and other equip spell stuff. Like, several of their cards didn't come out until follow-up sets, like, I think it was Illegal Knight and Celestial Apparatus, like, were in later core sets. So, like, they literally only had their 2.5 good monsters. Sorry, Magic Core.
Yeah, Illegal Knight was Dimension Force, I believe.
Yeah. So, like, they're... And while they have a couple of standard issue, like, spell traps to support, like Breath of Resurrection and Thunder Discharge and stuff that we'll talk about.
Apparatus was Darkwing Blast 9 months later than Grand Creators. Holy cow.
Some of the interesting support we're going to talk about with Adventure is of the type of the type of where some of their cards became banned in the OCG anyway, and so they had to scramble for replacements. And in Master Duel, a couple of these cards are also still hit. I think the TCG is like mostly over it.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. I can pull up the Master Duel ban list.
But
I'm pretty sure I think Wright still got some hits.
Currently in the OCG, the way they've solved this problem is Rite of Aramasir, which is on screen and has been on for like 15 minutes. Aramasir is still limit 2, it's semi-limited, and Gryphon Rider is just banned in the OCG right now. They're just like, nah, you can't play your negate. This, I think, effectively kills the deck. You can't play your, like, actual one monster that is worth playing in this engine. And so, you just don't. You just don't play it anymore. But yeah, like, people were looking at this brew and were like, okay, there's not enough good cards to have a deck here. It's nothing. And just forgot to turn on the like back half of their brain and go like, okay, hypothetically, what other decks would benefit from these, you know, if I just played the like, you know, 6 or 7 of these card names that are good actually, what deck would benefit from that?
Looking at the pack, Enchantress is at 1 and Aramasir is at 2, still in Master Duel.
Yeah.
So they're pretty consistent on we don't want this in Master Duel still.
Yes,
which
they're
is
not ready to. And I mean that makes sense because I can't say that exactly. We have now officially entered the zone where Master Duel is literally a completely alien format. They have released every fucking Snake Eyes card, including Poplar.
Yeah, like we got the Snake Eyes cards early. We got like when Promethean Princess came out early, like okay, that's one card, but
it's a cute promo, right? Yeah.
We're just dumping like the new set, like Bonfire and the Snake Eyes are also in Master Duel now.
No, Bonfire is not yet.
Is not? Okay, I thought it was.
Oh yeah, no, it's just every single Snake Eyes card, including like all the other shit that's like in there. So like their boss monster and Poplar and all their other shit. So like it's just a weird Wild West format. But yes, there are definitely discussions of what is good. I do not know if we are ever actually getting closer to a Maxi ban. I can continue to prage. I am that guy who every single time they post a survey, I do as Hardleg says, and I put in the, do you have any suggestions? Yeah, ban Maxi. Tired of this guy. Get him out of here. I'm hopeful that the fact that, like, every single TCG, like, creator and streamer played the shit out of the TCG ban list event, even though you only have to play it 3 times. Like, let Konami know, like, their numbers got a visible bump, and they were like, oh, shit, maybe people do like this list a little more.
One aside before we get into it.
Yeah,
Nimble
go for it.
Beaver's at 1, which I assume has to be a sprite hit.
Yes. That's gotta
That's hilarious. That Nimble Beaver of all 2s, it's like, that's too much. You can't have Nimble Beaver sprite.
Kill Arise Heart. Give me my Seahawk support, you cowards.
be. Also, yes, that's another
Didn't
thing.
they just give it to you?
No.
Oh, was it like? I guess that was the last wave. I guess that was like the last rotation of releases.
No, they still haven't given me my Seahawk support or my Ancient Gear support.
Yeah, I don't...
Oh, right, no, it exists. Right, it just hasn't released yet. My bad.
Yeah, it's not a Master Duel. Yeah,
I was
definitely not a
thinking of
Master
something
Duel.
else.
No, you were thinking of in real life, which I don't even... Yeah, no, they've I think, finally gotten to that guy in, like, Agov. But no, that's not
Wait, no,
in Master Duel
I
yet.
forgot. Ban Verte. I'm sick and tired of seeing
Also, yes,
fucking
that's another thing I do want to
DPE.
say. I fucking beat the shit out of, like, a hero player. I negated all of his plays in ladder, but he still stuck 2 fucking monsters on board and made Verte into fucking DPE. Konami, what the fuck? Why is this allowed? You should also go ahead and put Isolde in the trash bin, too. I know that she's not a problem yet, but just do her in as well. But, like, seriously, Verte is banned in the TCG and the OCG. That means that card is not okay.
Yeah,
He fucking sucks. I hate him.
he's at 1 just because, like, there's
I
legitimately
know
no
they
reason
decided to
to
get around. Like, I understand why Konami thinks they don't have to hit Verte. They never allowed Dark Dragoon, the Dark Dragoon engine, in this game at all, which is fucking bullshit, by the way. Now I don't say this not just as a Red Eyes player, but like, imagine if Red Eyes Dark Dragoon was in this game and had a sick animation. That would like be a thing that you want to market this game to. You guys, our first anniversary was Dark Magician. Our second anniversary was Blue Eyes themed. Okay, like, come on. This is a nostalgia bait card of nostalgia bait. You know what you're doing. But also, they like hits. They just straight up banned, I think, Celestial, so you don't get the draw 2 off DPE is combo also. But like, Verte still sucks. He cheats out fusion monsters. It's dumb, and I hate him. I hate his guts. Anyway, let's talk about a card that some of you might hate, but probably shouldn't. The Rite of Adamastia. So the
Rite of Adamastia, the artwork's cool. I believe the literal like lore of this card is that it is a water enchantress summoning you.
Yes,
You
so
are
let me
being
actually-
isekai'd into the adventurer world.
Let me see. There is not an EX
Thanks,
book lore
Aqua.
on it. Yes. By the way, a lot of people. I mean, I don't think she's necessarily presented as much of a girl failure as Aqua is, but Water Enchantress of the Temple is definitely like vaguely Aqua themed. But yeah, so there's a lot of little bubbles. There's a pile of water. She's clearly summoning something in the Spectra. So yes, this card is going to call forth an adventure token, which is supposed to be a probable insert for an isekai hero. And definitely, I want to say it's not super led into, but I know that Axe commented about this earlier. But something that does actually like come up that you would not get at all in English is Adamisir backwards is Risemara, which is Japanese slang for what they call reset marathon, which we just call rerolling. When you reroll an account in a gacha game, that's Risemara. So
there will be another card later that has the same connotation.
yeah.
I
So
think those are
and that one is
the tutorial looping, but that's a different thing.
No, that one is I can actually explain Aramatir. That's when you withdraw from a fight repeatedly until you get the drop you need.
Oh yeah.
So you just keep leaving the fight until you get the good drops. But yeah, so explicitly this in Japanese anyway, this archetype is not only supposed to be an isekai like self-insert type story, I believe it is supposed to be an equivalent of gacha game self-insert characters. Definitely more in like, a Grand Blue Fantasy or a Puzzles and Dragons type way because it is still like high fantasy themed. But yeah, it's definitely meant to be that sort of story. It is a little interesting, by the way, that like the wiki tries to say it's like a TTRPG reference. I don't think so, because there's only one player character. This definitely gives me the vibes of
it's RPG TTRPG in the sense of the monsters of the archetype are very much like the archetypal classes of like that you see in like a TTRPG party, but also like it's the same in like a JRPG party too. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I could make as many Gensukai jokes as possible, but I feel like I would not laugh at them. So what's the point?
I probably wouldn't laugh because I'm trying to do something else. I appreciate I appreciate that your mind went to that effort, though. But honestly, like I said, the aesthetics of these guys we're gonna see definitely feels more like not exactly Grand Blue Fantasy, but more definitely in that wheelhouse, right? Of like, we're doing some different fantasy stuff. But
I'm still amazed that like. It's again, this is once again Axe's fucking poster board of like shit Konami could do to make more money.
I mean, here's the thing, Axe. They already have a gacha game. It's called Duel Links.
Okay, yeah.
They already turned Yu-Gi-Oh into a gacha game. They actually
I'm saying
don't
they could do a non-Yu-Gi-Oh thing, but using Yu-Gi-Oh assets to. But no.
No, sadly, I mean, not sadly. Actually, I would not want them to do that. I think they're gonna make plenty of money by just re-releasing old games so that you can buy. Hey, by the way, cross-promotion, talking about Konami products, Lucky and I are in the middle of streaming like all the fucking games in Metal Gear Master Collection Volume 1. We're in the middle of Metal Gear Solid 2 right now. It'd be great if you could check out those streams, BT Dubs. Give them an old look-see if you haven't. While we do enjoy those games, a lot of those are full of comments of like, man, it'll be so cool when they release Volume 2 and we can play Metal Gear Solid 4 also.
Honestly, I just think they should make more like small, tiny like mini games or joke games of basically what it would be like playing the archetypes kind of imply they are.
I mean, you got to be careful with that because like that's depending on your price point. Making like little game projects is actually a losing prospect.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think like proof of concept stuff would be cool.
I think their proof of concept is probably going to be they're re-releasing a bunch of old like GBC and GBA games. They're going to package them up and re-release them on like Switch and Steam and shit, which I am also totally down for.
I guess I'll go buy those to be supportive. I guess.
I mean, some of them are cute, some of them are dumb, but the ones that are less like simulation of Yu-Gi-Oh are very interesting. But yeah, so like,
sorry for the name.
Let's actually talk about what. Oh, sorry. Sore nose. Let's talk about Rite of Automacy. It actually does really quick. This is a normal spell card. It says, if you control no Adventurer token, special summon 1 Adventurer token, Fairy, Earth, level 4, 2k, 2k. By the way, crazy, this is technically, it is not a normal monster, but it is a non-effect token that is a level 4, 2k, 2k.
Yeah.
And is an Earth Fairy.
She's spotted.
Yeah.
We'll get into one other Earth Fairy later.
Yeah, but it's very, I think it's very interesting that they went the fairy route. Like, you are, the adventurer token is, a chosen of God. You are an angel, not a warrior, which you would expect. Also, I suspect that they were, because this deck is equip-focused, they didn't want to give you a generic token warrior because you would immediately plug that into Infernoble.
Yeah, they probably made it fairy just because there are so many warrior equip spells that have broken the game way before this.
Also, does Isolde say accept tokens, or is she just 2 warrior monsters?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
2
no,
warrior
that's
monsters.
No. Konami's being smart. This was before Isolde was banned. They were like, no, if we make a token generator, we will just make infinite Isoldes.
Yeah.
And it says, then, if you do not control Fateful Adventure, which I will start the process of pulling up because that's our immediate next step. If you do not control Fateful Adventure, place Fateful Adventure from your deck face up in your spell trap zone. Hey, by the way, this beats Ash.
Yeah.
You cannot activate the effects of monsters on the field the turn you activate this card, except special summoned monsters. You can only activate 1 Aramesir per turn. So this is basically the first half of the adventure engine. If you can get to Rite of Aramasir, you can summon a token, which turns on a lot of the adventure cards. Also just gives you an extra body, who's not terrible. And lets you immediately go into Fateful Adventure at the cost that you cannot activate normal summoned monsters' effects. So basically, decks that do not need their normal summon monster activation, because you can still normal summon a guy as a body, love this deck. Here's Fateful Adventure really quick. Here's just our future lads.
A lot of decks at the time didn't care about the normal summon as much as they used to.
Yes, the main strategy of the pile deck is as many special summonable extenders as possible. So this is Fateful Adventure. This is the immediate follow-up. This is a continuous spell card that says, once per turn, the first time a monster equipped with an equipped spell will be destroyed by battle. It's not. This effect almost never comes up, but it's still good. You can use each of the following effects of Fateful Adventure once per turn. During your main phase, add a monster that mentions Adventure token from your deck to your hand. Send a card from your hand to the graveyard. If a monster is normal or special summon, take an equipped spell that mentions Adventure token from your deck. Either add it to your hand or equip it to an Adventure token you control. That's right. This also beats Ash.
There are a few equipped spells. It's always Draco Back, unfortunately. It's
Yes.
always Draco Back.
Draco Back is the standout one. But yeah, so basically, this has a mild protection effect, which is okay. But the main thing is that during your main phase, you can add one, discard one. It's almost always Gryphon Rider, but still. And then sending a card from your hand to the graveyard is not terrible. And then, just in general, if a monster is normal or special, take an equip spell. So, like, you can do equip interrupts on your opponent's turn. And like I said, equip it to an adventure token you control is not one of the effects that Ash can negate. This, I believe, actually is... there was some sharking about Fateful Adventure. At least suggested, because one of its effects is ashable. Or was it a... yeah, no, I think because it's face up no matter what, so it's always haunted mentionable. But, like, there's some questions about its effects and the timing of activation. And you know, there would be some people who suggested there were some ways you could play this to, like, bamboozle your opponent. I don't know if anybody actually tried it. People like to talk a big game on the internet.
Yeah, the Fateful Adventure, like, started a weird, like, mini drama in the YugiTube space of sharking connotation. It got weird. That's no point really discussing it 2 years removed from it, but it was weird. It was dumb.
It's just a thing to observe because you will notice that Fateful has two different effects. That said, neither of those are quick effects, so, like, it should be relatively easy to keep track of it in real life, which effect you're activating.
Hey, so two things I'd like to mention about this card art, if that's alright. One, I love the legally distinct Chocobo there.
Draco Back, yeah, we'll talk about him in a sec. Actually, no, that's the Gryphon.
And also, is that just a fucking Springan to the left?
Magicore? He's kind of Springan coded. We're gonna look at him right now, actually.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Actually,
pull him
he
out
is-
because he's our first monster.
He is just like a fantasy Spriggan. And those Spriggans are already fucking just...
We're not talking too much about these guys because they all have their own artwork, and it'll probably be better to just, like,
These
them one
are
at a time.
these are the original 3 monster cards in Adventure. Your, like, classic starting guys. I don't know in the gacha if, like, they're supposed to be the tutorial characters or just they're, like, the first batch of launch characters who show up, but these are your crew.
Party, yeah.
And we'll just grab our first guy.
Yeah, they're
Man,
your
this is
party
weird.
members in the general sense, regardless.
Sorry, I'm in the call. I can hear you guys, but my Discord is really shitting itself.
Yeah, I'm always happening early too. I don't know if it's like an actual internet thing or Discord being fucked.
It might be Discord. Right now, my ping is doing the invisible thing where it's grayed out and it just won't tell me.
Ah, fuck.
So, I don't know if the servers are exploding or not. Hopefully, we're still all coming through to you on streams. I did notice.
Like, I can hear you guys, and I can see your things popping up as we talk. However, Discord is doing that thing where, like, the borders change and it literally just says not responding at top.
Yeah, that's not great. I don't need that anymore. Let's close that tab. So on Stram, I have pulled up our first monster here, Magicore, Warrior of Relics. He's just Iseki no Makosenshi. Literally,
He is our big, burning barbarian bungus man.
Look at that pinchable waist.
Yeah,
he's a little skinny, yeah,
Kinda,
but he's
it's from
fucking.
an
He
angle.
is fucking caked up. Look how thick his rock thighs are. But yeah, he's just a guy. I like this art. This backdrop
believe-
definitely makes me think of Grand Blue, though.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
With the way that I'm not sure if it's coming off. Okay, it's coming off of his weapon, like the weird like crescent shape coming off his weapon. You can see some of that buried in the background. It's like, oh, he's like an ancient golem kind of thing.
Yeah. I did not notice from the side shot in Faithful Adventure, but he does have a tiny little mouth. He's got a little line there.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he's just vibing. Great background work, by the way. Love the like.
Oh yeah,
the,
like
the lightening of the colors to show you the depth.
It didn't come up in Faithful Adventure, but like if you look at Faithful Adventure's artwork, like it definitely has a grand blue sky island kind of situation of aesthetic going on. It rocks.
No, it's pretty cool. I like.
I mean,
the,
this
like,
guy
the
looks like
sand
he's
stuff.
made of rocks.
He is a warrior.
Yes, funnily
I
enough,
would have
not a rock.
expected a rock monster. Yeah.
This guy is a fire warrior. He is
What?
a level 4. Yeah, I know. Fire warrior, level 4. 2,300 attack, 1,000 defense. Every single person who's played old school Yu-Gi-Oh thinks there's something wrong with this guy. They hear the goblin attack force stats and they're like, okay, what's the catch?
He's got more defensive double attack for us.
I mean, true, but like, you know what I mean, Axe.
He's level 4?
Yeah.
Yes, this guy is normal summonable.
Yeah, no, my brain did the thing where it's like, okay, what's the catch?
It's his first line of a text. Cannot attack unless you control an adventurer token. So if you do not have the token, this guy is locked up.
I mean,
That said,
Mhm.
go ahead.
I think that's fine because I remember, I think there's a thing like that where it's a guy, I can't remember, but it was a 2,300 attacker who did the goblin attacks for thing, but it also had a thing where you could give it a union card to make it so it didn't need to bother.
Yeah, it was
there's a couple
second
of
goblin and someone else.
There's
It was also
also
another thing. There was, like, a big
the
line.
Mystic Fighter Lele guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lele. That's what it was.
Giant orc,
There's a
that's
few
what I'm
weird
thinking
shit. Magical Warrior is like, that part of his of text is a little outdated, but I get what they're going for. He's just a big fucking guy. He also says you can only use each of the following effects of relics once per turn. If you control an adventure token, you can special summon this card from your hand, so he doesn't even normal summon. At the end of the battle phase, if your monster that mentions an adventure token battled, set a trap that mentions adventure token directly from your deck.
Which would include this guy.
Yes. So I think Magical Warrior is cute. The main thing is because token is a token, and I think Water Enchantress is a level 3.
In terms of a 3 water spellcaster.
Yeah, so like if token was a guy, like if there was an adventurer guy and you could turn this into rank 4 plays, that would be cool. This is why I said that the original run of Adventure Engine had 2.5 good monsters. Magical Warrior is cute. He gives you some extra names. Water Enchantress, I'm pretty sure, has been limited down a couple of times in a couple of different formats. So
Yeah,
like,
Enchantress has always been the problem.
Yeah.
Of the advantage
so
engine.
like if you want an adventure engine and you need more bodies, you could run like 1 or 2 of this guy at an off chance just to get more guys. His main problem is that I'm going to tell you right now. This is, again, I think part of the reason why this deck was looked down on. I've read ahead. There's like 2 traps in Adventurer. Neither of them are that
Neither
good.
of them are that good. Yeah.
Yeah. To fetch them in the battle phase. I do want to say, I'm reading this now, I'm seeing the prototype of decks like Lab and Sinful Spoils and shit, right? Adventurer's playing around a lot with effects that just set or place face up directly from deck to dodge Ash. And that's kind of neat to see this, like, starting to percolate. Magical Warrior's not worth it. There's no equivalent of Welcome Lab or Big Welcome in Adventure.
Yeah, in the very early stages of people labbing out the Adventure package, for lack of better term, Magicore was played, but he was very quickly cut as just
Yes.
like he didn't like he was an extra body for Ungus Bungus Turbo, but as the pile deck evolved, you quickly got better summons with the Rose Dragons and stuff later.
So we mentioned before, right, that Adventure token being a fairy and being Earth is probably deliberately designed to dodge interactions with Infernoble and stuff. Magicore Warrior being a fire warrior seems like he is intended so that you can loop in Infernoble, but with a cost. And quickly people just realized that just like, nah. What if I just played the entire Infernoble package anyway, actually?
Yeah.
Also, what if I played Rose Dragon too? I can just do whatever.
Yeah,
What if I just do it anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kitchen sink deck was like Rose Dragon, Sword Soul. It was so many different things.
Yeah, it's just like, again, Magical Warrior, cute attempt. People just went like, nah, don't need him. So let's talk about the card out of the monsters. I mean, Water Enchantress is good, but she's not the reason why this deck was like good.
Yeah. Okay. I have pulled up the CSM deck that code that like named the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
It's Adventurer, Tenyi, Sword Soul, Rose Dragon, with the Mecha Phantom Beast, Deskbot, Auroradon, fuck you combo.
Oh my god. I know. I once upon a time, as in earlier this week, I thought, man, it's kind of sad that I think it's Red Rose Dragon. One of the Rose Dragons is still like limit 1 in the TCG for this
Red
deck.
Rose.
Sins. You just listing out all of those guys, I'm like, no, somebody deserves to pay for this. Someone needs to pay for these sins.
Where 8 Tenyi, 3 Sword Soul, Rose Dragon, or 6 Rose cards, 2 Mecha Phantom Beast,
Also, hey, by
a
the
Despot,
way,
and 10 adventure cards. Like it was
the adventure. I don't know if it was intended to go that way, but the adventure token is a non-effect monster. We said this, so it goes perfectly in Tenyi.
Yup.
So this is the card, the Wandering Gryphon Rider. I find it very funny that the actual Gryphon Rider, that little, League of Legends ass gremlin guy, yeah. I think it's a she based on Fateful Adventure. You can't hardly see her at all.
Yeah, I'm not lying. Until we were blowing up the art right now, I did not realize Gryphon Rider had an actual rider, despite that being its name.
Yes, she's in this picture, and you can kind of see the Gryphon's, butt ballista, but this smug Gryphon, with his fucking dyed braids... Actually, no, I think that might be the strap of his goggles. But still, this smug-ass Gryphon is taking up, 80% of this card art.
Yeah, and
the remaining 20% fucking rocks, though. Look at this background.
Yeah, and the actual Gryphon Rider, the titular Gryphon Rider is obfuscated by the Gryphon's giant ass wing taking up it's drawing your eye away from her.
Yeah.
The Gryphon is literally pulling a Mike Wazowski here. Oh, I just realized. Okay, so I thought it was a splint on the front left. No, the little gremlin's pulling out a ballista.
Yeah, it's got a quiver on its front leg because this guy has a giant ballista on him. It's on his wing too.
Sorry.
So yeah, this card's still banned in the OCG. Said this earlier. Why? Well, let me tell you.
Good.
This is a Winged Beast level 7.
It's the new Epic Avion, guys.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if anybody ever tried to make Adventure Harpy work, but I think the fact that it would work based on this guy being a Winged Beast level 7 wind. 2,000 attack, 2,800 defense. Big ass. It's a fat ass to carry all that ballista. During your main phase, if you control no monsters or an adventure token, quick effect. Special summon this card. So you can do this on your opponent's turn too. When a card or effect is activated while you control an adventure token, so you usually do wait for the token effect anyway, you can shuffle this card in the deck. If you do, negate that activation and destroy that card. You can only use each effect once per turn. That's right. This guy is a free special. It's a Sidra. Yep. And it is a free negate. Let me see. This came out, what? Grand Creators? So when did...
January 2022 in the TCG. And which would have been, what, August 21? Yeah?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So this card is technically in a post-Barone world. That said, Wandering Gryphon Rider is a lot easier to search and summon than Barone in decks that aren't already making Sync 10s.
What makes Gryphon Rider a problem? It's what shuffles into the deck? How's that a problem? It mentions Adventurer token on it. So you can just endlessly get it back with Fateful or Aramis or like the it becomes an endless conga line of
Yes.
negate.
It is a
Basically.
negate that it's only once per turn because it is hopped, but you can always get your negate back basically, so you're always up tempo. And yeah, that's literally all it does is just be a fat ass that summons itself and is a negate, and it is an omni because it's a card or effect, so just get him. It's just very, very strong. There's a reason why this is still banned in the OCG.
Well, and like was said, not only does it negate Nib, it destroys it out of the hand. It says, "Oh, you're activating Nib, no, get down."
Yes,
Get
it's
outta
when the card or effect is activated while you control a token, you negate that activation and destroy. Also, I didn't catch it earlier, but I think in the ongoing Discord Scrimblow, Axe has exploded briefly.
Yeah, I came back and he was gone. I was like, oh.
Hopefully he returns soon as well, but I have experienced, Discord connection issues in the past. It may take him a little bit.
We had to perform our own rites to resummon Axe back into the call. I think.
Yeah, we don't have Call of the Axe.
Yeah, it's the Axe of Despair. Oh, okay, no, he's saying in chat he's being kidnapped.
Oh.
Well, blink once if you need the cops.
Sometimes usually we have to bear with. Is there a bear with you, Axe, by any chance? But
my go-to joke usually when people disappear suddenly, but it's a very strong in joke, is I talk about them being abducted by the fishmen.
But yeah,
yes, good old Innsmouth.
Gryphon Rider is a big asshole.
Yeah.
Like just and a researchable negate that you can just set up almost for free every turn.
Yeah.
With the package.
Also,
It was
they
very
gave
strong.
They gave that Gryphon a huge ass.
Yes,
They
like
did.
it's a fucking level 7 with 2800 defense. Like again, that won't win you the game, but like if you just need to sit and stall,
It becomes a problem for a lot of decks to out. Like
yeah.
Like again, as we say every week, stats matter, and 28 is a big enough number that some decks just can't out without
There are
having
several
to.
generic extra deck monsters which cannot get over that without activating an effect, which, okay, you got rid of it, but your card you spent resources on has now been negated and destroyed. Cool.
Yeah.
Here is Enchantress, the girl herself.
It's Aqua.
I've just realized, are there common reprints of this card? No. Oh, that's a crime. This card in the TCG anyway has only been printed as, well, I guess it's an Ultra in the original Grand Creator, so that has a cleaner background. But, like, normally she's been printed as, like, an Ultimate Rare, a Secret Rare, a Prismatic Secret Rare, and it's like, that's really fucking up the background, though.
And apparently a quarter-century secret rare in Battles of Legends Monstrous Revenge.
Yeah, we've, I don't actually, what is different about the quarter century? It's really shiny.
It's a secret rare that has a speckled holographic champagne gold card name.
It's got a shiny card name, and it's shiny everywhere but the text box, thank God.
And it says it has a watermark of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game 25th Quarter Century logo in the middle of the card text box.
That's cute. I think the holographic secret rare is cooler, TBH.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that we are celebrating the 25th anniversary. Anyway, yeah, this is Water Enchantress. Again, while I very strongly agree that, like, this girl is, as we say in the biz, aqua-coated. She's also clearly not as much of a girl failure as Aqua. She's just, like, a cute elf lady. She's just looking good. I think her expression Armis here is a little more smug than this. But yeah, she's just chilling. She's got a staff. She's walking on water. Got good costume design. Just, solid.
Yeah, just like very, very good fantasy RPG. Like she's got the cape, she's got the flowing robe, the extra ribbons. It's moving parts, but it doesn't feel over designed to a point where it's bothering things. Like the only thing that is a bit much is like the pointy hat that also has its own little dangly bit, but that's fine. Like
it's fine. She can have a very fancy hat.
Yeah.
And I just picture the fucking, I don't know if she has an animation in Master Duel, but if she does, I'm just imagining that is like the fucking YouTube short they post when her 5-star banner is up. Roll now. Get Water Enchantress of the Temple. Make a splash sound. Again, killer backdrop. Looks rad. Water Enchantress we mentioned earlier, she is a level 3 water spellcaster. This is another thing I think why Magic is fire, is that means that each of your original 4 guys is each of the 4 attributes, and then the 2 monsters they added later are light and dark. Cute, unnecessary, but, fun. And she's got 1,500 attack, 1,200 defense, so for a level 3, okay stats. I think this is the same stat line as Gold Pride Leon. If you control an adventure token, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it's just also a free special. Though, unlike Gryphon Rider, the level 7 with a negate is also just Sidra. If you control no monsters, just fucking special
I
this
did some
guy.
looking. Enchantress does have the animation.
Okay, she does have the animation. Makes sense. This is the... Not always, but I appreciate when Konami understands that, like, the iconic card is not the top score. It's like how Gameciel has an animation, right?
Yeah.
Like, they know what's up. They know it's the Turtle Boy. But yeah, so this card's a free special. Also, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, add Rite of Aramesir from your deck or graveyard to hand. Just, fuck you, search Rite of Aramesir. The only way you can get rid of this thing is if she becomes banished, not by her effect. You can prevent that proc. If you control an adventure token, place a field spell that mentions adventure token from your deck in your face-up field zone. You can only use each effective Water Enchantress once per turn. You don't need that second effect, or that third effect, technically. Like we said, the field spell's not great. But this girl is just starter turbo. Like, banish from hand or graveyard, search Rite of Aramesir.
Yeah.
She is getting you your starter.
Yes.
And that is like limiting her, like, it doesn't stop the engine, but it tanks the consistency.
Yes,
which is
it
definitely
basically it makes it go from having 6 copies of Aramesir to having 4.
She'd also be the one to do your gotcha mechanic as well.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's like very, very solid mechanism and a very good consistency card. Because again, this is just, hey, guess what? You can do this under Macrocosmos and D-Shifter because she doesn't go to the graveyard. She banishes herself to activate her effect. So some floodgates don't matter.
I have found the animation. It's right here. Don't know like how we're gonna, probably can't show it, but I found the animation where it is, and yeah, like she just has the little pop in, big water flow around her.
Yeah,
like kind of.
Does she adjust her hat?
A little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of live 2D in there, but yeah. Okay, so those are the original, like I said, 3 core monsters, and we talked about Fateful and Right. Now they have added 2 more monsters in later supports. Some of them, well, one of them was kind of a thing. I don't think Celestial Apparatus has ever really been played, but
Apparatus came so far after the Adventure Engine got hit that no one even bothered to look at it.
Yeah,
like it's probably okay, but also
Illegal Knight, they actually did try and get, and yes, this guy's name is Irigaru Naito.
He is a dark fiend.
Yeah.
Can you guess what his gimmick is in the theming, guys? Can you guess?
He has to be discarded like a Dark World.
No, he's the betrayer, according to the wiki.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about of like
Lysander off.
Yes, no, thank you, Loth. But yeah, no. The wiki tries to claim that like he's supposed to be like a character who betrays you. I don't actually know how prominent that is in gacha games or isekai titles.
Like the closest thing he has is that, like he becomes like your opponent's monster.
He does switch control.
Which is like the most they can like flavor that, but like in a gacha game, that has nothing to do with gachas usually.
Like in isekai, there is some playing around with like heroes being villains, villains being heroes, and other shit like that. There's a lot of just in anime-ass things in general. There's a lot of I don't know how deliberate this is because I do know that wrestling is big in Japan, but I don't know how deliberate it is that also a lot of anime resembles wrestling polls, like heel face turn and shit like that. Also, I'll plug a underappreciated show, but there's a YouTube channel called Save Data. They have a live stream and podcast they record called Save Databayo, which is they're reviewing arcs of Naruto from the beginning. They've got 2 episodes. Please go watch them for me because I want them to make more. So I need you to go watch their video. But in the second one of those they did, one of their hosts, who's very clearly actually into wrestling, talks about how, y'all probably remember the jokes about talk no jutsu and stuff. Basically, he says that anytime a character like turns to camera or turns to a third party and like talks up themselves or another guy as cutting a promo, and I'm just like, that's so perfect. That is how anime works. That is what you do when some guy tells you how cool and rad Sasuke is, or when Kakashi tells Sasuke how cool and rad Orochimaru is, and you should not trust him. That's cutting a promo.
So this is relevant because I last night started rereading Naruto from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So incredibly timed. Yeah, no. In the first like real arc with the Bridget with Zabuza.
Yeah.
There is that between Kakashi and Zabuza where Kakashi's like, oh, I know you murdered like 100 people or something.
Yes,
well,
no.
I'm better than you because I'm the copy ninja. I've copied 1,000, and Zabuza's like, I know you too. You've copied 1,000 techniques.
Yeah, no, like that. I think, and technically, I think in that first episode they did because it was like intro and land of waves.
That a lot.
But like, no, that's literally cutting a wrestling promo. We went backstage and Kakashi and Zabuza are gonna fight, and they cut a fucking promo for TV, and it's like, yeah, that's not really related to Illegal Night,
Kishimoto.
but. Don't hate. Well, you can hate Kishimoto a little, but hate him for something that he deserves, which was just he does not understand what to do with Sakura. He gave her one of the coolest power sets of like healing people and also punching the universe, and just couldn't do anything with it because if Sakura ever actually punched anybody, they would die.
Yeah, mild tangent aside, Illegal Night, he accomplishes things because of his effect where, you.
So we should say we've really mentioned his typing. Body. He is a level 7 and is 2K, so he's got the same stats as the token. So he does kind of feel like a weird rival character, you know.
Yeah, and so if you have no monsters or an adventurer token, you can he can pop on the field.
Yeah, you can special summon from your hand.
Token, but both these are quick. Both these are quick effects during the main phase. So you can do this on your opponent's turn as interruption. And other quick effect, target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, which doesn't have to be 2.
Yes.
Your opponent gets him, and you bounce those 2 cards back to your opponent's hand.
And you can only use each effect once per turn, and it's of Illegal Night. I don't know if that means your opponent can like immediately turn around and do his quick effect, but also they would need a token.
They cannot.
Yeah, so like it's a cute little bit of interruption. When this came out in DeFi, Dimension Force, that was right about the time I believe that some of our first, I think lab stuff had been announced. I don't think it was actually out yet, but like, there's some wiggle room. That was also when we introduced Libromancer in the TCG. But it's a cute card. I don't think it does much for the deck. I don't know if Gryphon Rider was hit yet. I think they may have just been hitting Right and Water Enchantress. But
I can pull up the ban list.
Illegal Night is, I think nowadays as like he's better than Magicore Warrior, unfortunately, except in stats, which honestly you don't mind because you want him to be weaker so you can fucking crush him, because you're giving him to your opponent.
Crush.
Illegal Night was 2022-5. And Gryphon Rider, he was not hit at release, but he was hit pretty soon after. He was hit the October list where he was he was 3-0, and at this point, Enchantress was at 1.
Yeah, so Konami was clearly realizing that this deck was too good as an engine, so they were trying to rotate out cards. So, like, Illegal Night as a substitute for some of your adventure names that are banned, fine. gives the deck a cute little form of interaction by bouncing to hand. That seems to be a recurring theme, like Gryphon Rider returns itself to the deck, and we're going to look at a equip spell card, Soothe.
I just realized I was looking at the OCG lists in that for that one. I don't know. Hang on. I don't see Gryphon Rider.
No,
on
Gryphon
this
Rider's
list at
not
all.
banned in the TCG. It's
He
only
never
in the
got hit.
OCG.
It seems like simply never got hit. But on the OCG side, which OCG
I think what we did in the TCG was just eventually Enchantress and Aramesir might have gone to like 1. I don't remember if they were banned, but they were just like they crush it as a engine you can consistently draw. And then there's this weird little freak. This is their final main deck monster card, which is their final monster card in general.
We didn't talk about Leo Knight's design. It's very generic, like
He's a guy.
evil knight man. He looks cool. Not much to say about him.
Yeah, he's not bad, but he's not super good either. That's like
what the fuck
the fact
is
that we
this?
completely looked over him, didn't do anything, and his background wasn't that cool. Also, he had a sword that was dumb. It was like a triangle sword. This is Celestial Apparatus Sia.
You could search his cover Grapefruiter's Trap because he's an Earth Fairy. Very funny. Thank you, Wikipedia, for telling me that.
Yes.
Thank you
There's
making
no
that critical
trivia
information.
about this.
There's only tips, and the first thing it says is Gravekeeper's Trap over fucking Faithful Adventure in Aramesir for some reason.
Yeah, like it's I don't know. This card art is weird. Like it's not bad, but it's just a weird guy.
I
got,
have
like,
no
fucking
idea what
balls
how
and
this fits
glowy
into
hands
anything.
and a halo.
Yeah.
Being an Earth Fairy with spoiler 1000, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like the Ghosts of Adventurers Past or something. It's fucking weird. I don't know what's going on here. I don't hate it, but also I don't love it. This sky is fucking beautiful.
This may annoy some people, and may annoy Dallas depending on how it is. This looks like a very shitty NPC you have to help in a World of Warcraft expansion.
I mean, he's white and
so-
gold, and he's very weird. Yeah, I could see this being a guy in WoW. WoW went to the fucking afterlife once, and also has like traveled through time and shit. Yeah, no.
But yeah, I don't believe that Adventurer got any later support aside from Aramatir, which we will see in a moment.
Yes.
So we just have no clue how Tessia fits into the lore if they do anything.
Yeah, they haven't put another spell trap.
The closest we get to it is one of the field spells has similar Will-O-Wisp style balls that I guess could be relevant, but like I don't know.
Yeah, it's very loosey goosey. There's no official lore yet. They haven't printed an EX book explaining it or anything. So we're just really just like I don't know what.
He's an Earth Fairy, so the typing has something to do with the Adventurer token, which is
Yes.
us.
Also, I was
How it
miscorrect.
plays
I think I
in?
said earlier
No
they had a
clue.
light. They do not yet. So there's no light monster that ties into this, which is interesting. So Sia says if you control an adventure token, you can special summon this in your hand. Pretty normal. It is a level 4, so I guess if you played this with Magic-Core, you have access to a rank 4 engine very easily. It says you can reveal one card in your hand that mentions adventure token, add a spell that mentions adventure token from your deck to your hand, excepting normal spell. AKA, stop playing Rite of Aramesir. Stop it. Stop searching it. Stop it.
Play the other Adventurer spell cards, please. We're begging you.
You can't special summon the turn you activate this effect except tokens or monsters that mention it. You can use each effect once per turn. So yeah, this was never saving adventure. This card sucks. There's literally not enough adventure cards to make a proper adventure deck. Like, there's just literally not enough names that are worth playing.
I do believe this came out with Curse of Aramatir, which might have been the intent, because Aramatir is a continuous spell card.
Yes.
And this does also search Faithful Adventure, so this does replace the other limited copies of Enchantress. But at this point, this is like 6-7 months separated from the adventure package happening. Like, more stuff was out. I don't have
also, I want to say, this was Darkwing Blast. You want to know what shit was in Darkwing Blast?
Darkwing
all
Blast
the new
is so
Blackwings. Bestials, that's Magnamut, Saronir, Druisworm, Lubellion, Blazing Cartesia, all the Kashtira's that you care about, Fenrir, Unicorn, Ogre.
It was
So
also
essentially,
Runic.
what
It was
they did
Runic
with
support.
with
Go
the
on.
adventurer bands and then adding this card, they clipped your Achilles tendons and then tried giving you a walking cane.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking. I am looking at the. I'm looking at the list of cards. We have Archfiend, Blackwing, Branded, the Draco Slayers, which is so Dynamist,
Yeah.
Dynamist, Ignite, Magispector. The new ninja stuff that we were actually just playing with earlier, like
Yep.
before stream, I was testing out some of the ninja shit.
All the
more
new
Tri
ninja
Brigade
shit.
card, Scareclaws, Vernisylph, Valence.
The
As
first
Omega
half
said,
of Guti.
Bisteel and Kashtira, and then the TCG Goatee.
Yeah. So like,
There
yeah,
was so
it's,
much shit in this set.
I mean, this happens a lot. Like Pote was the same way, where like you get a lot of one-off cards or two-off cards to like add some support to old decks. The problem is just that Sia just doesn't. Sia is trying to funnel you into building a pure adventure deck, and there's still not a good enough payoff to make that work. Like, I'm pretty sure Gryphon Rider was totally banned at this time. The equip spells are not that good, other than Draco back. The field spells are not that good. I don't even think Armateer is that good. Like,
It's not,
yeah,
unfortunately.
like they tried so hard to replace the gas this deck lost without turning it back into a generic engine, but they didn't give them a new thing. Like, there's no like if I, for instance, were to support adventure, I would do the Emperor Charles strat. I would include a like 3k adventurer link monster that is like its materials are exactly one adventure token with an equip spell equipped.
Okay. I've looked at Armateer. We'll get to it in a moment. Same restriction as Tessia, which makes it awful, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. I'm glad that they, like, if you do want to try and build a pure adventure deck, they gave you back the tools to do it. The problem is that they didn't actually give you anything to do with a pure adventure deck, so it's still in a weird case. Somebody in chat right now, for instance, Kaiser Gore is talking about they tried to play it quote-unquote pure with basically just going second good stuff and then the adventure package. Like, just
Yeah, 'cause,
blind
like,
go second, break boards.
Realistically, you have 5 monsters, and like two of them are really good. Illegal Knight's a funny like battle trick, like
Yeah.
he's a funny interruption trick, but he's not one of your monsters. So realistically, you have 4 monsters in your deck.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do with them aside from, and like also the only thing that can get over Legal Knight is Magic Core. Gryphon
Yeah.
Rider can't get over Legal Knight. He can only crash.
Yeah, no. It's fucking it's sad because like I appreciate that Konami realizes they've gone too far and are trying to ratchet the deck back in, but they haven't given you enough. I also find that very funny because this was the same set that Cashier Fenrir did come out that this card came out. Yes, just playing the cash is the just like blight going second shit. Yeah.
Oh, this came in with cash.
Yes,
oh,
no, Loth. I
fuck,
mentioned
yeah,
that earlier.
no.
This card was printed when they printed the first like 5 or 6 Kashtira cards. So like Ogre,
Like-
Unicorn, Fenrir, not a
Like,
Rise Heart
recently
yet,
I
but
got-
like, yeah.
Recently, I got hit by Kashtira and Mastodon, and that was just awful. It was like, okay, cool. This guy's taking his first turn, and I can do nothing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
On the spell side, we're gonna whip out the traps.
Yeah, we'll just
real
we'll just
quick.
go in alphabetical
Look
order.
at that little gremlin.
So this
Yeah,
is, I
so
think, the
I'm-
Gryphon Rider. This is Breath of Resurrection, or Resurrection
So like
Breath.
when we get to the 2 trap cards, the trap cards feature characters that are just not cards yet.
No, I think this. I mean, it's definitely the same species. I think this is the rider on the Griffin.
No, I'm talking about the giant angel.
Oh
in
yes,
the
no,
background.
that lady. Yeah. Speaking of needing light targets, right? Yeah, no. So, I mean, and Water Enchantress is explicitly an enchantress of a temple. This is clearly, like, the big goddess lady. I do want to say I love this card art. It's a shame it's on a card that's not that good. This gives me, like, old-school Final Fantasy or, like, modern, like, HD 2D, pixel games like Bravely Default and Octopath.
Oh, wow,
Vibes.
I figured the Japanese card of this would be something like Breath of the Angel. It is just Resurrection Breath in Kana.
Weirdly enough, getting some Disgaea vibes because when you cast some high-level spells, they just literally just put like a picture of a woman in the background.
Yeah, no,
casting
it's
the spell.
like casting a spell and you get an overlay. Like I appreciate it, and this I almost call it an animation, but this art of like the green under and around our little Gryphon gremlin, very classic RPG shit. Also,
Yeah,
hey, if this
she is
isekai
breaking
gacha
right
game is
now.
played as like a side facing RPG, which it might be, that would be how it would look on your phone.
Quickly, side tangent, Omega.
Yeah.
Look in Fail Portrayal.
I see what your fear is.
It's actually that much for me.
I
yeah,
know.
so
But
Breath
still.
of Resurrection.
Yeah, Breath of
If you
Resurrection.
control an adventurer token, push someone up to 2 monsters from your hand and or graveyard with different names, but banish them when they leave the field. Then, equip one equip spell that mentions adventurer token from your hand or graveyard to one monster you control. You can only activate this card once per turn. So,
On
honestly,
paper,
yeah,
good card.
A pretty good trap card that Magic-Core could search, realistically, just doesn't do much.
so the problem with Magic-Core is obviously you can only search on turn 2 because you have to conduct your battle phase. You have to battle with a monster. So like you're probably setting this card. It is minimum coming up turn 2 or 3. And it's cool, but like you hopefully have set up your board for this. And if your opponent just like plays, Lightning Storm or Feather Duster or something, right? Or starts like blowing up your back row, you're not going to get any value out of this. You could summon a couple of guys and equip it a spell
You
that
can
gets
shotgun
destroyed.
it you can shotgun it if they try to pop it, but and like thankfully the monsters don't leave
Yeah.
at the end of the turn, but it forces you into like doing an Xyz play, and at the time they were all mismatched levels.
Yeah.
So
Now, strictly
like,
speaking, like this
Yeah.
card is made to be generic, right? It just says any
Yeah.
2 monsters from your hand and or graveyard, so it could be 1 and 1, right? With different names. So like that should be super powerful. I just don't. I think the problem is that all the decks you combo with this anyway don't need this kind of extension or even like interruption, right? On your opponent's turn, so you just have no room to play it. If you were playing pure adventure, I would say play 3 of this fucker just because fucking summon 2, right? But
not to mention that realistically you were only playing 1 Draco back in your deck for the package.
Yeah.
So Resurrection was usually offline because your board was already set up with Draco back on the board.
yeah, no, it's just like it's cute, but it doesn't do the work.
Yeah. It's by no means a bad card.
Yeah.
It just in the competitive package that was the adventure engine, it just didn't do anything.
Yes,
Like you said.
but
But still a good card.
yeah. And let me pull up we'll just do both traps.
Thunder Discharge.
Thunder Discharge. This is I mean, this guy looks like an Ifrit type guy instead, but like this is a Final Fantasy summon that's happening right now. You're casting Judgment Bolt.
Yeah, like you can see all the you can see your 3 goons below. So again, just another character that just does not have a card yet, as far as we can tell, and he is just crushing some skulls right now.
Yeah, he's Mr. Electric, lightning these men.
Yeah.
Also continuing the theme, this in the OCG is just Sunda Discharge. Like it's just they're just saying the names very simply. Again, another possible light target. He could even be like Light Thunder, but we're judging by the fact that like we said, Aramasir is still limit 2 and Gryphon Rider is still banned. This is a thing where like I don't want to say that Konami like is punishing archetypes for being good because they make all the archetypes, right? But
Yeah,
I
feels
definitely
less
think
so they're punishing.
Konami adopts a grace period where they're like, okay,
Yeah.
this archetype was very good for a while, and we've had it banned. We need to wait a little bit before we try and like bring this back in.
Yeah, like they do not want to drop another adventure card right now as far as them feeling that the adventure package is still too strong. They don't want to accidentally release a card that just that nullifies the fact that we still have half the adventure engine limited. It hit.
I mean, honestly, I would still probably either like make those guys like extra deck guys or just make them big like special summons. But actually like say this guy come up with some weird thunder name for him, Thunder God Dude Horn. But like just make him like a 3K guy who special summons if you have an adventure token and maybe pops. Like there's room to just make some guys so you can actually win some games. But yeah, this is a normal trap, by the way. It says if you control an adventure token, target one monster you control equipped with an equip card that mentions adventure token, destroy as many monster your opponent controls as possible with attack less than or equal to that monster, then equip an equip spell that mentions token from your hand or graveyard to one monster you control. You can only activate one per turn.
Again, same problem as the other one, where
Yeah.
you're really only playing one Draco back, and you already need a monster equipped with an equips card.
Yeah, so like
so it just wasn't played.
yeah, you don't usually get the second effect, and also like yes, crushing the skulls of all monsters with 2k or less attack can be a useful form of disruption on your opponent's turn, but not always. Not always will you actually like find the right time to wipe your opponent's board, and they can just shut it off by preemptively getting rid of your back row.
Well, and also, if we go into we should go into we probably could go into the equip cards right now
Yeah.
since we're talking about them.
I'll
The
start
other
pulling
two
up
equip
Draco
cards do work pretty well with Under Discharge, but again, they did not accrue advantage like Draco back did.
Yeah, it's just a thing where like they're good cards. The problem is that the strategy where you would play the trap cards is not as competitively viable as the other strategies. So
Yeah.
let's look at the problem child himself. This is the one you all know. Dracoback, the rideable dragon. Kiryu Dracobaku.
I did not realize that was the subtitle of Draco back.
Yes, he is the rideable dragon. Most people
I thought you were making a joke and then
No.
mentioned his name.
no, that's why most
Yeah.
people don't say that part. Most people just say Dracoback. Not
Very
even one
concerning.
Joseph Rothschild usually wants to say the rideable dragon. I'm not sure what Kiryu in this context translates to, but yeah, it's a dragon you can ride. Kiryu-chan.
Yeah.
Again, fucking beautiful Final Fantasy ass backdrops. Otherwise, yeah, it's a chocobo but a dragon instead of a bird.
Yep, lizard chocobo.
He's got like little wings for some glidey, you know. Got a tail. It's a weird fish tail, so I guess he swims. That's cool. Yeah.
It seems to be just with a quick Google Translate. Ki does just refer to ride, so it is a literal translation. It is the rideable dragon, according to even the Japanese kanji.
I guess the TCG was just like, shit, dude, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, they're like, fine. Okay, fine.
We're fucked no matter what.
But yeah, you can equip only to a monster you control. Also, like it's a good dragon. Like it's it's a baby Gryphon.
Yes.
Baby, basically. It's
Yeah, he's looking some vibes.
He's got the little like mane. I do like the blue, white, purple.
Yeah, he's got a color scheme,
palette.
but yeah. So you can only equip to a monster you control. That's a cute restriction, but is actually important, I think. You can only control
Yeah.
one Dracoback. You can each of its following effects once per turn. When this card is equipped to a non-effect monster, you can target on a card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target an adventure token, equip it to this card to that target. This is your disruptor. This is just a bounce, and also, if you bin it, you get to fucking equip it to an adventure token.
Yeah. So this and Gryphon Rider are two really good interruptions that you can just endlessly set up.
Yeah.
Basically.
Now, that said, this is not its bounce effect is not a quick effect. So it's a disruption on your turn, but still, like, it's really easy. Because, hey, it says if this card's sent to the graveyard, period. So, if you're playing, I don't know, Foolish Burial Goods, if you use Fateful Adventure to add Gryphon Rider and pitch Dracoback, you get to activate Dracoback. Like, it's just it's a really strong wombo combo of card effects. Obviously, I don't think it's limited or anything right now because the cards that make your token are hit. So,
that last effect is on the other two equip spells as well.
Yeah.
So like you can flip very goods any of these equip spells, and they will they will latch on to the adventurer token if he is in a 5-meter radius.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like magnetized. Like,
And then our first card that is not as good as Dracoback. This is Dunel, the Noble Arms of Light. Dunel, the Holy Sword of Light. It is a sword.
It's a very dumb looking sword also.
Yes, no. This is the kind of thing that like I not like 100% for sure, but with these vibes and this light and stuff, I'm like, oh, so this is like you do the fucking gacha pulls in Genshin and you get a 5-star sword you fucking hate. Actually, no, it's purple. It'd be a 4-star sword you fucking hate because it's not a character.
Yeah, and it's like if it was not for the giant ornament separating the handle and the separating the handle and the rest of the sword, it just makes it look like a weird bad pole arm.
Yes,
honestly.
I also its edge and tip seem to be made out of generic gacha gems because they're kind of bluish purple rainbowy.
Yeah.
it looks like they try to go for like a glass, like a stained glass sword, and it just looks very brittle.
It's fucking weird. I'm not. This is definitely like a 5 out of 10 sword for me. The guy who likes swords.
Equivalent to monster you control.
Yeah.
I believe that's restriction.
Yes,
yeah,
I think that's
on all the all the adventure equipped spells.
The equipped monster gains 500 attack for each monster you control with a different name that mentions adventure token. So even if you put this on token himself, he doesn't get any attack. You need to control some other guys.
You can easily see how this can Dunel and the card we will get into both have attack modulation that pair with Thunder Discharge.
Yeah, no.
Which is definitely the game plan, but because you're like I said, I'm playing Dracoback. You're not playing this other attack modulate, so Discharge just doesn't.
The problem with Dunel is I think Dunel's probably a good card if you're playing the pure deck, like somebody's talking about you're going second tricks, right? All of your guys are free specials, basically, so you can easily, if you get your combo off correctly, you can make the token, stick him with Dunel, and special summon 4 guys who mention adventurer tokens, so he gets fucking double attack, basically. He's 4,000.
He can very quickly become a 3k beater, which is kind of mostly what you need half.
Yeah, and like I said, if you actually, like, max out, he's going to, like, 4k. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good stat line. It's not quite enough to actually, like, close out the fight, though. And unless you are reaching that critical mass of adventure guys on board, it doesn't do anything other than enables all of your stuff that requires cards to be equipped. There are a few of those we'll talk about. But yeah, it's not quite good. And yes, like as you mentioned before, it has the same target adventure token equip effect if it's sent to the graveyard. And then the last one of the equips.
Starlight Papillon. Not Papillion, just Papillon.
Starlight Papillon. And this is definitely one of those things where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
I think this is actually meant to be the thing in the field spell that I thought was Tessia, when we get to that in a moment.
True. Because that field spell searches this, yes. But, like, it's a weird Navi Paimon type thing, I guess. Like, is this supposed to be your little guy who, like, follows you around and explains things? And,
just to get out of the way, the only thing it says different than Dunel is that it makes the opponent's monsters lose attack for each monster you control with a monster that mentions adventurer token.
It's the Shizuku Kagari type difference.
Yeah. So like you pair these two together, like one Magicore is a 1k attack difference now, which is a lot. Like that's a fair amount. Like God forbid you get a full board of adventurer monsters in a token. Like you're I think I would agree with your opponent.
I would agree with chat saying this is the better one. Probably zeroing out your opponent's monsters is better than making your own one guy huge, right? Because that means that in general your opponent's monsters losing attack overall means that you get more options rather than just one big guy.
And but not only that, it makes Illegal Knight a bitch.
It's true. That like actually makes the Illegal Knight play like worth it, but it's a very weird little whambo cambo.
It requires a lot of finickiness to make it work, not to say that it's bad, just like we keep hammering in. There's a reason these cards weren't played.
Yeah. Also,
think
yes,
all we
the
have
field
left-
spell interaction is probably better. So let's look at the 2 field spells really quick.
We have the 2 field
First,
spells and Aramatir. I don't think we looked at that.
Yeah.
But
I'll pull Armature up. I put Armature at the
Yeah.
bottom of the list because that's literally the like, oh shit, all your shit is banned card. Here, have a new card. So this is Forest of Lost Flowers. It's a Forest of Lost Flowers. It looks sick. This art is great.
oh yeah, like both field spells are really good art. Again, nothing cards.
Yeah, I mean, in the pure deck, again, if you had enough cards to play a pure deck that was actually like really worth it, you know, not just like summon Fenrir Prey. This would be a good card. So Forest of Lost Flowers says, monsters you control that are equipped with Starlit Papalion are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Fuck you, I'm a Towers. Once per turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, just like we haven't even talked. We didn't even talk about it. This deck was designed to be built around the Adventurer token because like you are the protagonist.
This is definitely
all
a
about
protect the
you.
castle type deck.
Yeah.
Like a
Unfortunately,
Bujin or
the
other
castle
things
is
like-
a token.
Now, admittedly, he's a non-effect token, so like there's things you can do with that. But yeah, one fucking token feast, I think ruins your day. But yeah, once per turn, when your adventure token destroys a monster by battle, you can draw a card. Once per turn to your main phase, if the previous effect is activated this turn, you can add a field spell that mentions adventure token from your deck to your hand, deck or graveyard to hand, except Forest of Lost Flowers. So the other one. I think they may have planned to print more of these, but I believe there are only 2 currently.
Okay. So looking at the trivia for this one, it actually does appear to be the Japanese name is a common like a catch-all term for the Lost Woods, the mysterious forest that
Mayo no Mori
is localized many different ways in English because it's just there. It's not as a catch-all term from Japanese to English.
So yeah, no, it's just it's the literal Lost Woods.
Yeah.
Very classy. But yeah, so like again, it feels like Konami was thinking of maybe like packing some extra like some more different field spells in here to give you a variety,
like,
and then
more
it's just
field
like
spells, mayy more equip spells even.
And and then they just realized like shit, we got to be careful if we do that. That's gonna like break this thing. Again, this on its own really intense. This will actually like keep your token from getting, like I said, like tokens giving or whatever, feast of tokens, from getting just 8, from activated effects. But it's still like only one guy, so if they like Dark Hole or Raigeki you have like a strong guy left. But you don't get the attack modulation anymore,
And like I mean I will say it's pretty neat like the first wave of support before people approach that competitively. It's very cool. Like I said, they left it very open ended to add on more equip spells and field spells and kind of do more things to play around protecting the castle.
Yeah, and if you made more trap cards that were like more big spells these guys cast, right? Like, you could do something with that. It's just that, like you said, they very rapidly, once this deck actually came out. Sorry, hold on. I've loosened my the mic arm stand, so hold on a second. I gotta tighten it up now. I was sitting up in my chair, chat.
Oh wow, the wiki page does just link to a 2020 article that just showcases dozens of different translations of the Mayoi no Mori in English, which is pretty cool.
Neato. Also, no, I don't think set rotation works because both field spells are monsters you control equipped with blah blah blah.
I will drop this in the Trad Games channel on our Discord if people want to look at this because it's relevant to what's happening on the stream.
But yeah, like it sounds like Konami, had plans to like expand this further. Obviously, they did release Illegal Night and stuff. It's just that thing where like this deck was really good actually, like as a package, as an engine, and they could not do this dance.
I know that the name is meant to be Illegal Night, but I just can't help but think it's some kind of fucking shitpost with that name.
I know the name is very weird. I think. Let me actually double check. In kanji,
It looks like it's Gaihon no Kishi, which is Aberrant Night.
Yeah, he-
Not sure why they changed that.
well, no, it's because like all the other cards, it's got a Furigana and a Kana read. So it's Irigo
Yeah.
Naito, and then it's also, hey, in case you can't read that, he's Gaihon no Kishi.
Oh, okay, I see.
I probably would have gone for the non-literal translation and called him Aberrant Knight, but they were just like, well, it's a legal night, so it's a legal night.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
This is Zaralam, the Dark Palace, or
Yeah.
Dark Temple in Japanese.
Definitely supposed to be like, maybe not the last dungeon, but like definitely a big dungeon. You've got your fucking spiky crystal, you've got a path, you've got the bottomless pits there, you've got a big door. Looking good.
This card seemed to have gotten errata. It's the Japanese errata. I have no clue what the errata is about. Probably just a misprint in the Japanese printing them. If we did not get that errata.
Oh, they clarified that the tack-on effect is a once.
Okay.
A soft once. So Zaralam is basically like the Lost Woods, but for Dunel. So while you control monster code with Dunel, your opponent can't activate cards or effects during the battle phase. So it's like
Pretty neat. Like to just, hey, I'm going to battle phase. You can't fuck with me.
it's
Stop.
the Giga Armades or gear ancient gear like type effect. Once per turn, when your adventure token destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. This is also decent because like Dunel does make your token very large if you're going that route, but that doesn't. He only gets one attack, so that doesn't necessarily mean he wins the game. I'm actually
it
pretty
does
shocked,
also,
by the way. I was
it,
going to say
it does
there's
kind of.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
It does pair up with your opponent walling up. Like you can flex into Zarlam to go. Well, I'm still gonna get damage off you with my token.
Yeah, you can flame wing on him. But what I was gonna say is, I'm actually quite surprised there was not an equip spell that lets an adventure token or etc. Double attack.
I would imagine that was definitely in the shop. Before players broke it.
Yes, and then it has the same effect that that Lost Flowers does. Again, like screaming to me that Konami has more field spells planned, because it says once during your main phase, if the previous effect was activated this turn, you can add one field spell that mentions an adventure token.
I also do really love the wording that it's a main phase 2 effect without being a main phase 2 effect.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice.
There's no piercing,
Konami's
but
too
you don't.
busy sucking their own dicks to make another field spell.
You don't need piercing.
I'll say
like
it.
I said, I don't think they're in that case. I think it is genuinely like we said earlier. Some of these cards are still on the ban list. I don't think they want to necessarily gas up adventure, because like here's a weird thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Decks that are like meta popular that are winning are not always popular with the customer. There's this weird factor in Yu-Gi-Oh where if you get your ass kicked by a deck a lot, you don't like that deck, and thus you are not necessarily going to be incentivized to buy new sets that have more cards for that deck, even if they aren't the thing that broke it.
So it's me. It's me who hates Zodiac. 5 years removed from the Zodiac format because they murdered me for 5 formats in a row, leading into the Link format where I'm like, okay, Zoo's no longer a problem. Oh wait, they just summon one Xyz monster over and over so they can avoid the Link rules. While I'm playing like I'm trying to play dumb shit that's restricted by it because we only have Mrs. Radiant right now.
Yeah.
So I just that made me remember something I heard about /Soul, which is why Warhammer Fantasy quote unquote had to die.
Also, by the way, real quick, Mrs. Radiant, the Earth Link monster that can be played in the Zodiac deck, the Earth Xyz deck.
Yeah. No.
It was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
They were
I know.
like, oh yeah, let's release a new rule set, and demons are the most powerful thing ever, and everyone fucking hated it because it's either play demons, run anti-demons, or run something anti.
Yeah, metas like that like have these vibes, and yes, Yu-Gi-Oh has that same problem where like I've actually played some tier format. I actually think tier is a really interesting deck. I understand why most of those cards are banned though, because it is a deck that is incredibly hard to counter, because tier's thing is it's just always plussing, it's always activating.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like that, people are like, I don't want to see tier anymore. I think Kashtira is also one of those decks because pure Kashtira is a fucking nightmare deck. Arise Heart sucks ass, and I hate him. Also, Diablosis the Mind Hacker as a pre-existing Psychic rank 7 to snipe extra deck monsters and like mill your opponent's deck also was kind of a problem.
Dealing.
I also just remembered the other deck that was popular in the
Oh,
Zoo
yeah,
format,
what
which
was
was
it?
Monarch,
Oh,
which doesn't care about the extra deck.
no,
so
no extra deck Monarch.
The two best decks in early Link format just didn't care about the Link rules that limited the extra deck problems.
Well, and also no extra deck Monarch plays stun cards if you do play the extra deck. Like,
Yeah,
What
like I didn't hate Monarch as much because like Monarchs are cool. Monarchs have had like 2 decades of being around them. Like I was less nettled by them.
Monarch's got
But
some
Zodiac
legacy
was
rep.
having
Yeah.
barrage and all this other shit. Anyways,
Yeah.
Sorry.
What were you saying, Loth?
No, I just stuff like fucking Kashtira and Tier. Like, I understand why they're popular. I just hate how fucking just like, okay, cool, you got rid of my out. Nah, it's back. Like, fuck you. You spent resources on me. Didn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cash is
it can be a
independently, I think, a
problem
much less popular deck because also, even though I know I played these guys, but cards like, not really Ogre, but Fenrir and Unicorn are like also just independently good as just extra guys.
It's one of the reasons I hate fucking DPE so much. He just keeps fucking coming back.
Yeah, DPE's a fucking pain in the ass, and I hate his guts. Like, the only thing you can do is, like, Called by him when he's in the graveyard. And hey,
Yeah,
Called
but,
by is a card that is limited everywhere. It's semi or full limited.
We do have our final adventurer card that as we prefaced it, it's really bad. It's like we can talk about it and just get it off and just
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Toss it in the trash.
I'd like to ask if after stream, if one of you guys would be willing to help me test out this deck.
We can do some deck stuff.
I still got some duel in me.
Yeah. So this is Rite of Arametir. Arametir, again, I mentioned this earlier, but that spelled backwards is Ritamara, which is retire marathon, which is the process of retiring, quitting a fight until you get the monster you want in the random encounter or you get the loot you want in the quest.
And this
or
is
battle.
a legal knight, and his sword, like rising as the villain, I guess, is also why is like the closest thing people have to connect the dots of him being a bad guy.
Yeah. It looks like we beat up a legal knight and his sword loot finally dropped.
It looks like well, I forgot to mention earlier about the stuff like with illegal knight betraying you. That's a very common trope in isekai / otherworld genres. They love that betrayal shit so
it
much.
is.
Yeah. It's just the thing of, like, aberrant knight, illegal knight is like, okay, so he goes to your opponent's field. I guess that's all we got. But yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just, with no connective tissue, it's hard to tell. So this is Curse of Arametir, the Forbidden Curse. Again, they're poking fun because Arametir was, I believe, banned at this time. In the OCG, at least.
During your main phase, special adventurer token. Okay, guess your adventurer token.
To either,
either
field. Then
Then
send a card from your hand to the graveyard.
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
you cannot switch on monsters that turn activate this effect, except adventurer tokens and monsters that mention it. So the Tessia lock.
Yes.
That is why it wasn't played.
And then also, if a monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a token to either field. So, like, this is a cute, like, tech, and, like, almost makes it sound like they were setting up for, like, a version of, like, Valance or the Subterra Nemesises, right? Like, there would be, like, a bad guy faction to this RPG you could play. That is also not emerged. I do like that this is a continuous card that just lets you keep resummoning tokens and also lets you replace tokens if they actually get, like, popped. But the fact that, like, it's at least its first summon effect during your main phase locks you to token monsters is bad. That's rough. You know, like, there's some cool concepts here, but it's way too harsh of a lock. This card is way too fair to make adventure actually pop, especially, again, in Dabble. This is Kashtira format.
Yeah, and we say this a lot. I don't know if we've actually mentioned it recently. Saying a card is fair, like, it doesn't sound like that big of a negative, maybe, But in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, where so much of advantage building is about just getting free bodies and doing things and just doing things for free, it can be unfortunately cards like this that have too harsh of a lock or too restrictive, they don't end up played in a competitive sense because they don't have enough gas to get things flowing.
Yeah, like, this came up when we talked about Ogdoadic, for instance. If a card is like completely fair and balanced, it's not a high performance card. There are definitely fair decks that play. Usually, though, they're fair in that they have some kind of like choke points, weak points. They have some kind of strategy that like makes sense, or you need to get certain draws. Generally, Yu-Gi-Oh cards are considered really good because they are arguably unfair in that they either do things even when they're interrupted, or otherwise, like, even if they are only facing one player, right, they do something that, like, is just a net gain for you. You don't minus yourself, right? It's all pluses. And then there's straight-up cards which are not fair because they fuck with your opponent, too. And just, like, they can't do anything. So Curse of Armateer is too fair for its own good. It locks you to a summon, which is not that excellent. Now, let's see. We've only been going for an hour and a half-ish, but it is 9:30. We started a little late because we got some extra Yu-Gi-ing.
Yeah, and, like, we could bang out the punks pretty quickly. You could we can gush about the art. Like, all the art in the punk cards look awesome, but it's your choice if you want to call it here or not.
I would probably rather save it for a stream because we have been going for a little bit. I know this one's shorter, and I know you guys like longer streams, but I would have to take a bio break anyway if we were to switch archetypes, and we've got the opportunity to like get some Yugi plans in after this anyway, so we might just wrap it up here and leave Punk for another time. I do want to inform you, while there's other Master Duel stuff going on, I did have to scrape together gems to buy the fucking anniversary set, another 3,000 gem set, and so on and so forth. So I have been ladder climbing with Gold Pied Punk. I've actually built it, and it's pretty good. The main thing is just there's not enough room for non-engine, but sometimes that doesn't matter when you just make Psychic End Punisher. He's not an invincible guy, but he is a tough guy.
He feels very invincible because that attack just stays.
Yes. The main thing is that if you can prevent... If the numbers don't work out that Pep gets, like, exactly 8k, which I have done several times, you just have to, like, live and figure out a way to out him or set up so your opponent can't kill you. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you just had to have interrupted their ability to summon Pep. He's rough, definitely, especially because he is, like, a fully generic 11, I think. If he was, like, Psychic locked, that would probably be better. But yeah, he's a wacky, wild guy. There have been games I have made Pep and not won, but yeah.
Hang on.
He's a punishy boy.
There actually is lore about the adventurers. They just were not. It just wasn't listed on the page for some reason.
Oh, interesting. Is there an EX book link?
It's right below. It's in the same chunk as Exorcister, and I just don't know why it wasn't listed. Water. It does look like, for the most part, it's just quotes and such things.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Adventure in Another World. When you woke up.
Very funny that the translation for Water Enchantress is "Hey you, you're finally awake" is literally the first line of text for Water Enchantress.
Oh, they pulled a Skyrim.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, some of this world with the ritual of an ancient covenant, people of all sorts of races exist in this world. Unknown monsters, power of magic, blah blah blah. Like your usual, like you've been summoned here. Dangerous part of our journey of adventure. That being the case, we need companions we can trust. We befriended the Magic Core Warriors, a sturdy body, a Gryphon Rider, a member of the Felinoids, is apparently the Gryphon Rider's race.
Yeah, cat. Illegal Knight is a mysterious knight encountered in a dungeon. A magical swordsman encountered in ancient ruins at the time they fought with us, but their race, gender, etc. are all unknown. Oh, please tell me Illegal Knight is a cute anime girl. Mudrock me, please, Konami. Make Illegal Knight hot. I will buy your archetype. Bravely Papillion is a mysterious butterfly that shows you the right way to go. You know, shit like that. So, like, it's very generic. It's kind of cutesy. I like it, but it doesn't add a lot.
I will say I do love this one line that gives Magikarp Warrior. Zaratham is a demonic cavern where monsters of the dark dwell. I shall take the lead. Ho ho! Will the power of the light Donnell pave the way to the newest area? Lord of these ruins should be awaiting you beyond that point. Prepare to summon the Lord of Thunder.
That's cute. Yeah, they have little lines for everybody. Gryphon Rider talks about you get lost in the flowers. It's impossible. There's a nya in this. To escape, you got to follow the striped papillions.
If you want to throw this up real quick, this is the concept art. Holy cow, Water Enchantress. They really
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the
Water
art.
Enchantress's concept art is a lot more in your face, we'll say.
Yeah. Here's the thematic concept art before we go. Here's the full thing. Let me actually make sure that balances well on OBS. Yeah, you can see everything. Okay. Mesa Magikarp Warrior looking good. You've got Gryphon Rider being an absolute little gremlin.
Look at the tiny version of the cat.
Yeah, it's a great shot. But Water Enchantress is definitely going a very different route for your summoning.
This definitely fits with the you're finally awake basically.
Yeah.
Like she's like kind of like staring at you. Like,
I also do want to say I'm kind of sad they changed her hat. You can see it in the other concept art too. She had a much more traditional classic like witch hat. I like it a lot better with like the flop and the little water fairy in it. But yeah, this is definitely much more, you know. This slice right here, like from just whoop, I grabbed it. I meant to grab the other one. Like, let me see if I can highlight it correctly. But like this slice right here of just Water Enchantress slightly leaning over, presenting her bosoms, chat, is what we're getting at. That's a fucking shitty border ad on a website. Play this game, adults only.
We're fucking under attack.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It is, which is the correct vibe for this, but also like is so cursed. So yeah.
I will say I do love how way more jacked Magikarp is in this concept art though.
Yeah, no, this concept art feels way more dialed to the extreme. Like the Gryphon Rider is she's way more cat-like. Like, and they clearly tuned this up a little, which is perfectly fine.
It's so cool getting some concept art and stuff. Like just kind of like seeing part of like seeing at least a part of the kind of the evolution of the styles.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting to see where this goes. But yes, it is a very, I mean, not that it's bad, but it's very boilerplate in the lore. You know, you've been summoned, just fight monsters and get treasure, bro. And we're like, okay. You know, we're exploring.
Like the lore for Donnell is just the Shining Holy Sword.
Yeah,
that's all it is. There's nothing else there.
Yeah, you know, so it's fine. Again, lots of room for more to be covered. Unfortunately, this I believe did come out then before Armatir and Seiya, so we have no idea what the fuck those are. Still. But yes, stay tuned for when we do Punk next week, because that also has some lore and some concept art, and it's fucking rad.
Yeah, no, like the Punk archetype definitely has one of the just like just balls to the wall, like whack kit bash of aesthetics.
Allow me to
on paper you see that and you're like, there's no way this should work, but it looks.
It does.
Awesome.
It's fucking rad. Let me read you the first line of like descriptive text for some of these guys. Sharakusai draws 3D art in the air with a cyber paintbrush made from twisting the hairs of Giga Weasels. He's become the talk of the town due to the powerful, amazing dragon he paints on the buildings of Pont City. That's P-O-N-T in all caps. Yeah, this is the vibe of Punk, and it is rad. And again, I can also intimately talk about this deck. I've literally been playing Gold Pride Punk. I know what every Punk card does, including the ones that you probably don't want to play. But like, yeah, it's gonna be great to look at everybody, because this archetype is a visual treat and actually is pretty good. it's definitely one of those cases where, like, they don't need to print more Punk cards. I want them to because I want more card art, but they don't need to print more because the deck itself makes a lovely little, like, half a deck you can play with something else that's also similar. Then just before we go, because we managed to talk for like another 15 minutes, as we do, just a quick recap. You got about a week left in the Fail Portrayal poll for this month, and the standings are exactly where they were. Valkyrie and Seven's Road are still tied at 4. I think we've gotten more votes than 14 before, so we might still shake it up. I did say last time, if you're fine with where the vote is, to just leave it as this, because I think if there is a tie, I will just pick Seven's Road just for the novelty. But again, if you want to shake it up, we still got about a week. There's plenty of time to figure it out. And, you know, support us on Patreon and stuff. And, yeah, so that's Fail Portrayal this time. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See those numbers, you know, squiggling around. If you have missed some of our more recent episodes, be sure to check out, you know, the Ogdoadic one, the Amazon S one, etc. And then, you know, stay tuned for more. Let's see. How many more shows in the month? Okay, it is just 2 more. So next week will be Punk, and then the 27th will be whatever wins the poll. So on the 5th, we'll kick off March by talking about Exorcister, which will also be an interesting time.
Now, will we go with the censored artworks of the Exorcisters?
Oh, I'll probably pull up.
They muted the colors.
I'll probably pull up both for comparison, just because this is Fail Portrayal. We love to talk about dumb TCG censorship here.
Yeah. One more thing before we go, since it was brought up. There are plenty of times where the TCG censors things for no reasons. Exorcister is actually no reason. Like there is 0 reason they censored the cards. Like,
yeah,
in
I think
17 quotation marks.
The only vibe I think is that they don't want it to look too much like real nun habits, because that might upset some people. But also you can't get around the fact that these girls are nuns. I presume they go to, like, a religious school. That's just what their vibe is. That's a fucking... First of all, that's a fucking genre in Japan, definitely. An all-girl school where we fucking fight ghosts? Yes. But, yeah, no, like, that's a whole thing. But, yeah, we'll be getting into that a little bit later. So stay tuned for some slap-happy archetypes. So, yeah, and now we shall be departing. Good eventide to all of you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Fail Portrayal. We'll keep on keeping on. And, you know, keep your eyes peeled for other Yu-Gi-Oh! Things we can yell about. Night, everybody.
This is awful.